Colin Farrell isn't done with his role as Oz Cobb in Matt Reeves' Batman universe. After his initial appearance in The Batman, Cobb took center stage in his spin-off series The Penguin, which recently wrapped up on HBO. The finale stunned fans and fully established Cobb as the infamous comic villain, though with a grounded twist that keeps some of his quirks at bay. Now fans eagerly await The Batman Part 2, which is rumored to pick up not long after the events of The Penguin. However, even this sequel won't be the last we see of Oz Cobb. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Colin Farrell shared how long fans might see Oz Cobb for on screen, and it's longer than many expected. While some believed the Penguin would set up Oz as the main villain for Batman Part 2, that may not be the case. "I signed up for 3 Batman films, but I didn't know if I'd be in the second film," Farrell revealed. While we know that Oz will appear in Part 2, it's unclear if he'll serve as the primary villain or play a secondary role. Okay, so Penguin's wrapped up. It's a great show. Highly recommended. Really good. One of the things I really appreciated from the show itself was the fact that they didn't shy away from showing that the Penguin is actually a bad guy, which is, I think, a problem we've had a lot with like these movies making villains like the main character. We kind of forget that they are the villain. And I myself kind of like whenever it's cutting clear who's good and who's evil. Call that basic if you will, but I'm at least glad we got to see that from the Penguin. Now, I won't delve into spoilers because I still recommend people to check it out, but in the interview, right, Colin Farrell, he did say that like we can expect him to be in like the Batman Part 2 obviously, for around like 5 or 6 scenes, which to me that doesn't sound like a lot, but I guess that's fine. We'll just have to see what Matt Reeves is thinking of doing with the Penguin. I have faith in him. His Batman universe is great. I am very excited to see what else we do. I will say, though, we do know that the Batman Part 2 would be around Christmas time, and it does pick up shortly after the Penguin. So I think the Penguin will be relevant and will be important to the future of this Matt Reeves Batman universe. As for like who could be the villain for the Batman's Part 2, considering the setting, I think Mr. Freeze would be thematically the best choice, but I think it's more likely we're going to get Hush, considering that there was so many teases to Hush for the sequel. But who do I really want? I'm on the camp. I want to see Clayface. Clayface has not been that relevant in the DC universe. He's been sidelined. I think you could do a really cool story with Clayface, him being an actor, and him like using his superpowers and whatnot, and Batman having to fight a kind of a different villain. But it's unrealistic, and Matt Reeves did say he wants to keep things into like the world of realism, which is why I also don't think Mr. Freeze is that possible, because there's no such thing as like a gun that can instantly freeze you. Now, sure, there's like there are things that like can turn things cold really instantly, but not to the extent of Mr. Freeze, right? So I don't know. So that's why I'm also thinking it's gonna be Hush, because that's much more realistic. And it's a lot of a darker character than the wacky, cartoony Batman villains. But I don't know. I like Matt Reeves' universe, but we should definitely still like have a bit of that like cartoony comic book style feel for the Batman. That's just my take. Is the Penguin getting a second season? During the press tour for The Penguin, Colin Farrell repeatedly referred to the show as a limited series, implying it would only run for a single season. Many fans also assumed this after Farrell shared his challenges with wearing extensive prosthetics for a full season's worth of episodes. However, the limited series label may no longer hold, as Shogun recently retracted this classification and announced plans for 2 additional seasons.
Thing would come off, the hair, that start with the wig and the skull cap, and then this piece, and then that piece, and by the end of it, it was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got the accent down. What did you base the accent on, the character?
Jessica Drake, my dialect coach I worked with, she has a whole library of various accents from all over the world based on interviews she's done and interviews she's lifted off YouTube. And so we listened to a bunch of accents. And then there was some apartment building manager from the 80s that she spoke to and did an interview with, and he just had the lovely, very thick New York accent, but it was really lovely and it was full of character, and he used to keep talking about gefilte fish. I never even knew what a